Can you hear me? I don't wanna hear myself tonight. Yeah, sometimes I fight so many battles that you'll never see. And I know you've been fighting too, just like me. There's no place we can go where our hearts stay whole. Heroes in the sky don't have to fly so high. We feel you every day, you're never far away. Heroes in the sky, your love still gets us by. We carry on your name, you're not so far away. Empty chairs and folded flags remain, but your love still runs through our veins. We tell the stories, keep the flame alive. You gave us reason to survive, and though we miss your touch, your spirit lifts us up. Heroes in the sky don't have to fly so high. We feel you every day, you're never far away. Heroes in the sky, your love still gets us by. We carry on your name, you're not so far away. Well, hold the line, we'll stand for you, for every soul that wore the truth, to every heart still left behind. You're the reason we keep time. The wives, the sons, the daughters cry, but strength is.
One thing I tell you that this challenge done taught me is just taking everything step by step. You look up that damn hill, seems like it's gonna take forever to get up there. But if you just look at a 45-degree angle, instead of looking straight up, taking one step at a time, keeping your same pace, not worrying about what's going on to your left or your right, promise you, you'll be up before you know it. Hey, we on day what? It's 6. Number 19 more to go. Can't wait. Let's go.
Everywhere else, you can see yourself. Welcome in, Doug.
Welcome in, everybody.
We're literally live on really actually 4 platforms:
Yes.
Facebook, TikTok,
YouTube.
I don't
No,
think
not
Instagram,
Instagram.
but multiple people's Facebooks.
Yeah.
I think we're on like 4 different.
Four different Facebooks, YouTube, TikTok. So we're all in the war room tonight because we're once a quarter. Heroes in the Sky made our trip up here to Leesburg to hang out with Nautical Salute. So want to come in here tonight, do a special episode, talk about some upcoming events we got, and just see how everyone's doing. So we have Sean. Hello.
Co-host of
Yes.
our podcast, as well as founder of Nautical Salute.
Correct. And we have our audio engineer, Rich, who you typically don't see in the camera, but he's all the man behind the scenes. And then we have a special guest, Doug, with Vet Legacy, the main man behind the event, which is happening August 22nd.
Which is a community festival.
Yes.
And that's actually going to be at the Seawalk Pavilion in Jacksonville Beach.
Yes.
August 22nd, starting at 0900 and closing out at 1900. So, Doug, I mean,
Good old
hard to
Jacksonville
see.
Beach. Good old Jacksonville Beach. How you guys doing?
We are fantastic. A little tired, but you know what? I guess can't complain.
So
Exhausted is the word, for real.
just to give everybody a heads up tonight, we actually do every quarter. We do a seafood boil fundraiser at the American Legion Post 219 in Fruitland Park. And last time we fed 40 people, and profits, we split the profits between Nautical Salute and the American Legion Legionnaires, which is actually what the veteran portion's actually called. We did They received $220 last time, and then tonight we were able to give them real time $300. So every time it's growing, and I think we served 60 people this time, had a lot more food and such, and ended up actually being able to give away at the very end so it didn't go to waste about 20 meals.
Yeah.
So
20 to go plates full of low country boil. Fantastic evening.
yeah, and the other thing that was actually awesome about it is we don't ever tell anybody, hey, we're going to be doing a discussion about what Nautical Salute is, what Combat Kitchen is, what Here in the Skies is. But the part about it really was having a captive audience that was like blown away, A, by your statistics,
Yeah,
by your story, Rich, as well as, the mission of Combat Kitchen, which is, for those that don't know, is part of Nautical Salute. It's a program that is run, and Rich is the director of that program. Both of him and I actually have culinary degrees, and of course, you can tell I don't shy away from a meal. So,
same here. Same here.
so,
I just can't show it.
Same here.
Don't hate me.
so, which we're looking forward to connecting with Doug in Jacksonville Beach, because Combat Kitchen's going to have a special feature actually at the community festival. So, Doug, I mean,
Yeah.
what made you want to have this idea of that's coming to fruition with this community festival?
And while he's talking TikTok, if you guys can just let me know if Doug is coming in too quiet, that way I can go in and adjust his volume, so just so we know, because this is new that we're trying to do it on all these. I appreciate you. Go ahead, Doug.
But yeah, first of all, I'd like to say I think that Rich's metabolism is probably a lot greater than ours is. He probably eats more than we all do, right? Being a chef. But
Yeah,
the American Legion, I want to say this about the American Legion. I've had the pleasure of partnering with the American Legion, and all over the country, the American Legion has been tried and true. I mean, they're evergreen, right? And in this American Legion, they're going to be doing the color guard. They're going to have a booth there as well for their post 129 in Jacksonville Beach, and they're gonna provide the color guard, a joint services color guard for us at the initial opening ceremonies of our very first ever inaugural community festival for Veteran Legacy. And I know that it gave me a whole lot of pride in that when I was a youth, loved to play baseball. The American Legion was there, and once again, they're there now. So it's grateful. I'm grateful to hear that your post down there in Leesburg, or is it in Leesburg?
yeah. Well, it's
Yeah.
Fruitland Park, technically.
Fruitland, yep.
Fruitland Park, right? And I've heard up in Virginia as well that they're really good. American Legion posts, and this one was in New Jersey too. But yeah, so the question was,
You guys see
what
nothing.
what was I thinking in trying to create an event 104 days from the event day that usually takes about a year to plan, right? There's a couple
Yeah.
things that I was thinking. Number one, I wasn't thinking. We can go with that. Um, there's a lot involved in it, but it was to bring together the first responders, veterans, their families, um, current military families, the entire community, and those we've lost, also Green Star, Gold Star communities, to for a community and to bring them resources to the table and provide the segue between, the VA with a meet them where they're at attitude, right, or approach. And that is the entire goal. And we've had so much support. And if there are people who do this, it doesn't matter if it was 2 weeks
Right.
in front of the event. If people are out there actively doing this, it's a 3-minute phone call. Hey man, I need you over here, right? Because these people are actually on the battlefield right now, dealing with these issues day to day to day, right? And we talk a bad one sometimes about the larger nonprofits. My job that I've taken on is to support the smaller nonprofits, and I believe the larger nonprofits. We need to start that as being an approach or an attitude towards the larger nonprofits, how they started in their grassroots movement, where it was one guy funding it, moving along the timeline, and they ended up getting bigger and bigger. But the need never changed, right? It's
Right.
just the need continues to grow. We continue to see a lot of comprehensive challenges in every day-to-day market, so to speak, right? With different challenges with the economy, different challenges with PTSD, and different definitions of that. I think that Heroes in the Sky really enlightened me and opened my eyes to something that's really not thought
Oh,
of, and
Ginger.
I continue to bring this up, that a first responders PTSD or traumas are totally different than someone who's survived the battlefield and made it back home, because they may have to go right back out, whereas one was an isolated event that they're dealing with, but this first responder has to go back out next week. And that opened my eyes to a couple different things, and it also kept me inspired. About halfway through this process, about the 45-day mark, I was like, man, I don't know if I'm going to get this done. But like I said, a lot of support has come through, like you wouldn't believe. It's literally a 3-minute phone call. Hey, we need you over here. Are you in? And they're like, yeah, our stuff's ready. Our gear's packed. We're ready to go. And that is that's invaluable. Number one, to what my vision was, and then also to the mark that it's hitting, right? Because we are accomplishing that mission in getting these people together to provide these resources. So that's the why.
Now let me ask you this question. We're going to talk a little bit in depth because we are 2 weeks out from today. We are 2 weeks out exactly from the event on August 22nd in Jacksonville Beach at the Seawall Pavilion. I'm going to keep plugging that to drill it into your brains. Um, you know, looking at this event and understanding the why. You know, what feelings do you get when things start clicking? Um, and things are just falling into line. Like, does what does that do for you personally and professionally?
So, professionally, there's a small sliver of me. I can't lie, because I wouldn't be human if I didn't say, hey, this might elevate my status in the community and things like that. Like that's all well and good, but the benefit to other people far surpasses any of that I could ever imagine. So if I view myself as kind of like a conduit, right? Like, hey, you get a calling. Okay, is
Yeah.
everything starting to click? Is everything starting to fall in place? Well, I guess I'm the person to do this until I'm not, right? Um, and you'll get led places where if you're of pure intention and pure heart, you'll be in the spots that you need to be in, provided you continue working those doors. And I think that most of the time, when people get into something like this, you have a capitalistic nature in some regard. But I wanted to make sure that this was grassroots. This was all benefit driven. And I only mean benefit driven, not to say that, hey, we're collecting donations to provide a benefit, but because originally I wanted to fund the entire thing, not ask anybody for help, not ask for any donations or anything like that. Now people started donating. People were like, hey, how can we help? I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that. And they're like, hey, we'll do that, right? Um, so the things that come to mind, number one is inspiration, right? Because you need that fuel. If somebody comes up and you're getting a lot of yeses, you're getting a lot of I'll be there, you're getting a lot of, hey, can we bring this also? And it's just something you never even thought of, and it will benefit. That's like shoving coal into the fire, and it keeps the train moving. You get momentum, and then there's nothing to stop it at that point.
Right. Yeah. Well, why don't you ask? You all actually ask some questions as well because
Yeah.
I don't want to take over here and just kind of.
No, yes, that is me, Ginger. I'm sitting here as well. Um, no, yeah. So Doug, it's great. It was great meeting you. I remember the first time that we spoke on the phone to try to just to get to know each other before the event, and I could really see your intentions behind why you wanted to do this, and the passion to help people. So I guess my question to you is, when you look at the overall scope of this event, what is the result that you most want to happen? Is it camaraderie? Is it just support, or is it a mixture of all of those things? And how does that make you feel on the inside to know that we could touch so many people?
So I want to be honest with myself. I want to be honest with everybody here too. This is never going to end. There's no goal, right? There's a direction. There's there's a destination, but those goalposts are always going to move as our landscapes develop, as they, other things intertwine,
Facebook.
as everything starts to. I mean, some things may get better, whereas some things may get worse, right? So just having contingencies planned and things like that. But the overall outlook. So we say like the attitude of it, right? The direction is for awareness, for amplifying and maximizing the understanding and education for all the benefits out there, all the resources out there, and the education that goes along with those benefits and perks of being military first responder. And there's a lot of stuff that people don't know. There's a lot of stuff that I didn't know when I started this. And my one of my benefits is that I got to learn a lot of things that I didn't know.
So in with that, like, do you find yourself ever questioning, can you do this or should you do this? And if so, what brings you back out of it?
So certainly, I was just talking about this a moment ago on another broadcast. Sometimes this stuff's exhausting, right? And a lot of it is knowing where your mind is at, right? Not so much coping mechanism, but the understanding like, hey, this is where my mind's at. Like for me, when I get when I get exhausted, that's when I start doubting myself or second guessing or evaluating all the things that I have on my plate and saying, maybe I should take this off. And I'm going to tell you what, when I get a good night's sleep, all of that goes away, right? So for me, knowing what I'm dealing with at that time, just the mere acknowledgement of knowing what I'm dealing with is like three-quarters of the battle. And the other quarter of the battle, I don't deal with it at all, right? Um, but yeah, it can be exhausting. I'm a person, I don't like to sit on my couch and rub my toes together, right? And no offense to anybody who's doing that right now, but I just I like to go out and get it. I mean, I feel young inside, right? My body doesn't agree, but I feel young inside. I've got a good head on my shoulders, um, always, and I'm always trying to, create those synapses and learn something, fail, 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 so that I can, get up and just like we learned in the military, right? Eventually you're gonna get it. And when you look around, you're going to be providing something for somebody who's going to need it, right? And I always look back at when I was 20 years old, when I was 25 years old, when I was 28 in my prime, and I've always had older friends, and my older friends, I would look up to them, and the people who were 46 years old as I am now, those were the people where I expected them to have it all together and expected them to, right? So I feel like that's where I need to be in order to give solid information, solid direction to people, that they can benefit off of, or point them in the right direction that they can benefit off of.
Well, and yeah, I think too. What's really important about this event is the impact that, though, if you haven't been to one of these events before, the impacts that can happen. Because I can't tell you how many events I've been to with Nautical Salute here in Florida, where you have a younger active duty person or a younger
Yeah.
family approach you and actually ask you or want to talk to you about some of these topics because
It happened tonight.
yeah, either they're struggling or they know somebody that's struggling or they know someone that's lost somebody. And
Yeah.
so you'll always find these
Facts.
topics and these conversations when you do these events. And then at the magnitude where the location of this, in the capacity of traffic of people that could come through, I'm fully expecting not only myself to feel that, but each one of you to see that as well. That someone may approach you and want your advice on something because they're struggling and they're looking up to you to give, to give them some kind of guidance.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so so when we talk about these events like that, it's important to we don't lose sight of why we're doing it. And that for me, it's always, no matter how busy that event gets, it's about the people I can help, the people I can touch, the people that I can get to come up and talk to me. And when they leave there, they know that there's support. They know that there's somebody got their back. There's these organizations. And we've talked about some organizations, but I do want to highlight walkforvets.org. John Ring will be there as well. Amazing guy, walks across the country for veteran
Absolutely.
issues. Great organization. But yeah, so I guess my next question, Doug, is when I guess we have like a event schedule, right? And so this is going to be we're going to start off with like the Remembering the Fallen speech. We're going to start off with,
Yeah, he's got an MC schedule
yep,
of events that have already come out. Actually, why don't you?
Yeah.
This is actually a great time to kind of go over that schedule a
Yeah.
little bit, so people can kind of get an idea of what to expect
Yeah.
on that day.
that's exactly what I was going for.
Certainly. I want to touch on one thing you said, and then we'll jump right into that. So I want to make it clear, like some people, they need clarity or certainty sometimes. So you will have those conversations where, somebody may just be as motivated as we are, right? In their 20s or something like that, and it's not so much that they're struggling. They may just need clarity or certainty on something that crossed their mind, and they're ready to embrace or embark on that threshold. And now they need that extra vote of confidence, right? So you never know. You keep your positive mental attitude, you keep your composure, you keep that forum and that platform that you're from, and that's how you're impacting people. As far as the event's concerned, um, yeah, we will start it at 9 o'clock in the morning. The ceremonies start at 10 a.m. So we'll be fully set up. Everybody will be out there 9 a.m. just welcoming people in, and it's a huge area. I mean, I think if I had to,
All right.
Hey, Doug.
Hold on.
oh, you guys can
No,
hear me now?
no, you were good.
You're back.
Okay, great. It's a huge area. If I had to say, about 4 acres or so.
Yeah.
You can still
It's
hear me?
it's a massive property.
We can hear you now.
It's huge. Yeah.
Yeah,
There we
he's
go.
cutting in and out.
There we go. It gets
Better.
connected to Bluetooth. So, yeah, it is a massive property. We're not going to fill up the whole property. We will fill up the
Not this
entire.
year.
Yeah, not this year. Absolutely. I was down there tonight, as a matter of fact, and they do have an event going on tonight. And there's about 1,500 people that came through, had eyes on it. We expect. I mean, I'm not supposed to say this, but we expect about 3,000 to 3,500 people that day. The idea is to keep people there, keep family engaged. There's bounce houses. There's 2 recruiting stations. There's races between the Marines and the Army and the Navy and the Air Force, not excluding the guards and the Space Force as well. Free food, combat kitchen. Thank you for that, by the way. I wanted to thank you and Nautical Salute for that, donating that free. I know it'll be wonderful.
Hey, we
Uh,
thank you for inviting us, making
yeah,
us, and letting us be part of this.
certainly, absolutely. I mean, so we'll get back to the schedule in a minute. I want to say that I'm just a guy with an idea, man, and
Weston.
really everyone who I've reached out to, these are the people who've made it happen. I mean, we've had numerous people donate through TikTok, through Facebook, through the handshake, quote unquote, marketing that I've done on the street and talking to people. And I mean, myself has donated, Combat Kitchens donated, Heroes in the Sky, and all. So everybody, right, has come together and made this thing possible. It's not my event. It's everyone's event who's participating, even the people who show up. Like it's for you, right? We're gonna shape it.
It's a community event.
Yep. We're gonna shape it into what it's gonna be and how it's gonna transpire in the future, right? And we don't know what that's gonna be. That's the thing. It could be 10,000 people at the beach, and then we're gonna need to address those issues, right? Um, but yeah, so 10 o'clock, we're going to do the national anthem. We're going to do the colors. Heroes in the Sky, I believe, has some things to say at the opening of the ceremony that we want to recognize. We'll do a moment of silence, and then we'll get into basically the agenda, if you will, of the day is basically to have fun and have that togetherness, but also identify those resources and get into those conversations with folks with those resources. And there's a lot of great resources, so it's not a somber day, right? There's a lot of great fun to be had. There's a lot of festivities. There's a lot of games. There's basically a paintball field with water guns and water shooters, capture the flag type style. There's a 60-foot long obstacle course for kids. There's a huge slide because it's going to be hot out there. Sitting areas, there's education on VA loans. I have the VA coming out, and the VA is bringing their A team from one of their top performers. This guy actually, his name's Glenn Newbins. He actually turned down a job in Tampa to be the regional director in Tampa to continue his work here because he's making such an impact, and he loves what he does. There's DBQ. There's a nurse practitioner who does DBQs. Veteran excursions, all this stuff. So all in that 2-hour period as we start off the day from 10 to 1 will encompass all of that. So you get a nice feel for it. We want everybody to show up at that 10 in force to come out and have the national anthem, do that moment of silence, and get these resources that, I mean, a lot of them I didn't even know about, to be honest. I mean, skydiving, somebody's going to take me skydiving? Not me, but somebody will take you guys skydiving if you like.
Yeah. It won't be I either. So good. Don't look this way.
I don't think my
I'm,
doctor would like that.
I can only go single. I can't do tandem because I'm too big.
I
There you
I
go.
I was not a lone dart in my military career. I'm going to leave that to the whoever it was. That's not what I did.
Yeah.
Nope.
And then at 1 o'clock we're going to kick off a live podcast just like here, but it'll stream from the event, which will be really great. And we'll get some crowd engagement for some of those questions they want answered from myself, from Nautical Salute, we'll bring Combat Kitchen up there, just to get the title sponsors of the event, an opportunity to let people know kind of who we are and why we're doing this, right? And what is needed from them, in addition, because we do need things from each other, right?
Yeah.
And it's not money. It ain't money. Money's a tool to get places, and we found that money's really relative or subjective, right? You can get way past a goal not having a dollar in your pocket, right?
Yeah.
Which is amazing to know as if we come together.
what I'm most excited about with this is seeing people real time connect with organizations, connect with potential their next purpose. Um, see lives being changed in real time, where people are out and about and being vulnerable in that sense, right? Because we're only going to see people improve their life when they feel supported, when they know that they're going to not be let down. Now, there's some accountability of actions that they need to take, but that warm handshake off or hand off, oh, that's fantastic. Like, how many people are going to get almost one-on-one time to set up the next thing for themselves, right? That's what I'm most excited about this. I'm really excited about also seeing my brothers and sisters that are going to be there also doing what they do best, in connecting one another in different resources. Like the power of human connection and community. Mm.
Yes.
Listen.
Hold on, Ginger. Hold on, Ginger. Don't. We're gonna talk about that a little bit later. But James, he can wait.
I got you. I got you, Ginger. I got you. Hook me
Well,
up.
for some of us, it's a work day, right? Like we
Yeah.
we have to treat it as a work day because it is, like you said, this is what we do. This is what we do best. Um, and you got to understand, I had a conversation with a couple people. There's some really unique stories that people will learn about during an event like this. As we've talked about, uh, when people are providing some of the services that they provide, like with mental health or with adventures, and getting together with the camaraderie that's desired, or via VRNE or VA loans or any of that stuff. you know Marketing that is kind of cringe, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, let me be the cringe one. You guys, like, you can't go from being, in a very emotional conversation to, hey guys, we need to talk to more people and blah blah blah, right? Like, it's cringe. It totally throws off the purpose. And like I said, we're just conditioned nowadays when we pay attention to stuff that we have to be sold to in a specific way, right? And a lot of marketing dollars goes into that, and I don't really believe in that type of thing, right? So you have to have somebody, kind of outsiders, so to speak, bring those people together in that way so that they can continue to do the work that matters.
I wholeheartedly believe that people who will be struggling will inadvertently cross paths and make a decision to want to fight one more day just because of this event. I feel it. I know it. And that's that right there is the real win in this whole event.
Well, there's hope in support. There's hope in community. There's hope. There's strength.
Opportunities.
There's strength in numbers. And when you do an event like this, and you show this area, because I've never, I'm not from this area, so I don't know what the demographics are, but I do know the power of showing a unified front and being there for each other, and being there as a large group, a collective group, for those that may be struggling to come and get hope, get purpose, create some identity for themselves, and maybe give them some direction moving forward, because they see other people doing
And we
it.
appreciate that, Bluebeard.
They see other people who have struggled in this area, and now they're excelling in this, and this. It gives them that hope to continue fighting because someone else has done it. Someone else has worked through this, and this is what it looks like. And so that's what I love about these events. We collectively bring organizations together with a common purpose, and then that collective organization, there's a lot of strength in that, and then that touches more people than you'll ever know. And then you set the standard next year, because that person you touch this year, they're going to go talk. Word of mouth is huge in these events. They're going to go talk to their battle buddies if they're a veteran, or if they're active duty, or if it's a family. They're going to go talk to their friends and say, "Hey, you need to go to this event next year. I went last year. It changed the way I looked at things." And then it just
And I'm staying in contact with them too.
correct.
So do not come to an event like this if you don't want to have follow up. If
Right.
you don't want to, because if you show up and you come to my tent, or we see you out and about, and you make the decision to engage, we're gonna ask you what you're doing next.
Mm-hmm.
B, see where you're at and what you need, and then we're gonna follow up. It's gonna happen. And I want you to do that because tonight we did a little presentation, and You know, we were talking to everybody. I think we had 5 or 6 veterans actually that was there, but it was a major family members, right?
And it started a huge conversation.
Huge conversation that a simple 5 minute overview of what we do turned into 45 minutes of engagement. People were like, wow, literally the young man who's is from Eglin that was here. We had people at this event from Eglin Air Force Base. We had 5 people drive literally from Daytona. 2 people come tonight from Ormond Beach. I mean, it was phenomenal. And people connected even with James about things that they're struggling with because of they had a veteran, you know, that they lost. That was a family member, I believe, suicide.
It's
And
like he was about to say too. It's amazing. Like if you come across us or you even come to a food spot and everything and talk to us, you could be stuck. I literally, like he was saying, we had a couple come from Daytona, all over Florida and stuff. And the funny thing is I met him just playing Apex, a video game online, not even through TikTok, not even through Facebook or nothing. Just playing a video game. We connected. We started talking more. Once you get inside the circle and everything, I told people, like, the one thing Sean asked me today while we were out getting ice cream, what's your superpower? I have the gift of a silver tongue. You put me in a room with anybody and I'm going to come back with it. And you're gonna, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be stuck with me. Because I will go through hell and high water for anybody.
But we have to, that's the type of relationships that we have to seek.
Yep.
Because when we're talking about mental health and depression and isolation and all these things that can be just really bad for your mental health, and it when you need a tribe of people around you exactly like that won't quit, that'll reach out to you on day 2 or 3 if you talk to them every day. Like I talk to Sean every day. If I don't hear from him in like a week, I'm like, hey, wait a minute, what the heck? Like something's not right. Like,
hey, he's a brag in a basement. Don't worry about that.
You need a tribe of people like that, like
Yeah.
Rich is talking about, where they're gonna call and check on you, and if something doesn't sound right, they haven't heard from you in a few days, they're picking up the phone or they're hey man, I haven't heard from you. What's going on? You know, just making sure you're okay. We need that crew of people that we trust that look after us.
Doug, I don't know if you can see this, but like Cruz, who's typing in here, you know, the follow up is important to keep them engaged and letting them know that they're not alone in the fight, right? I served with her. She lives in, you know, Puerto Rico. She's flying back just to come to this event to help support because she's a director for Nautical Salute in Puerto Rico. Like, it's those types of things where people are like, wow, I know I can make a difference. You know, Rich with the food, you know, it might seem like a small gesture to people, but we say it every time we have an event or cooking. Where is the one place, especially as a kid or in the military, that you sat down, you BS'd, you caught up with everybody, took a breath.
Chow time.
Chow time.
The best part is later on, in a few minutes, we're going to be cutting for a commercial. I just need everybody to sit there and stay. You want to hear a very powerful song that a buddy over here wrote?
Yeah. And I didn't even tell anybody I had written it, and I literally just played it in the truck, and I was like, I just was working on this. And,
Yeah.
But, you know,
It breaks down our missions too.
but those that are not watching from they're watching from TikTok. Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to be able to hear it. Right?
No, they're gonna be able. They can hear it.
You
I
can
gotta
hear
set
it. All right, but you won't be able to see the.
I'm
the
gonna
stuff.
actually, before we do that, while we're still sitting there talking, TikTok, you're gonna have to buy with me. I'm gonna add another source so I can pull that video and put it in here too, so you guys can watch the video at the same time. I don't want you guys to miss out on it as well.
Yep. So, are we getting ready to go to a commercial? Is that what I hear us doing?
Well, before we do that, if you can, I'll take us out. Like if I may,
Yeah.
you know, on the other side of that exhaustion you were talking about, James, is like the other extreme is inspiration. And once we recognize that, in ourselves, we'll know we're capable to get that extra day out, right? Each day. If I can dream a little bit with you guys, if I may.
Absolutely.
So this event, I was thinking about this event, and I tend to think a little bit larger than I should. But the impact and the mission that's behind the event is to bring those resources to people who, maybe don't have resources in their community or wherever it is. And what I want to see is one of these events in every area where people can come and gather from different states to an event like this in a different state at least once a month across the US. That's a goal. That's the 5 year or the 10-year plan. Do I know how we're going to get there yet? No, right? But I know the goal, and I'll work back from the goal, and we'll take the steps in that direction and eventually get there.
Well, isn't it one event at a time, one person's life impacted at a time? I mean,
Correct.
that's how the Army's grown. I'll tell you, Doug, you are very charismatic, and you're also very genuine. When I see the passion, you know, I enjoy our conversations, and I've shared this with you, just like James and Rich. When you have good conversations with people who are bought into developing their idea or even the solution, and they may not even know that it's happened yet, but when you see that spark come alive and they become a force of nature, and they're just making things happen, that is something that has impressed me, because not everybody can be a doer, right? There are natural leaders, and doers tend to be natural leaders. And I think you've got something that is inspirational to other people. Probably 9 out of 10 people would never think or dream and take action on an event like this with 3.5 months to plan.
You got to be a little bit crazy, and I mean, here's the thing: you take the leash off of some individuals, and I've worked my whole life to get the leash off, right? You take the leash off, and you'd be amazed what people are capable of. And I'm not plugging myself. I'm just saying, generally, people. I watch people, and I kind of evaluate and judge people, and kind of make assumptions or biases on what they're dealing with. And the most valuable thing that one person can give to another person is a genuine retrospect of who they are. So they're just holding up a mirror. Hey, this is
Yeah.
this is you, right? And then coach them through any of that stuff. That's the most valuable thing that I would want as a person. Like, hey, dude, I can run my ass off, but if I'm running in the wrong direction, I'm not getting anywhere, right? So if you have somebody say, hey, look, we just need to point this way, dude, take off, right? And then
Yeah.
I don't need it. I don't need anything from you. Go do it. That's it.
Okay, hold on. You just said something, and I know we're going to be going to a commercial here, but right there, I don't need anything from you. That is probably one of the biggest statements, because guess what? I want to surround myself with people who don't need anything from me, but who want to be around me or to
Yep.
support or have my support. Want and need, two totally different things. It's the
Yep.
want versus the need. Now, the need to survive and have things like that, that's important. Safety, shelter, Maslow's hierarchy, right? That's
Right.
important to survive. But to thrive should never be driven by need.
No.
Yeah.
Agreed. Completely agreed.
So, thank you for that. I mean, dude, you inspire the hell out of me.
Yeah.
I got tons of inspiration.
And,
No,
and
likewise, man. Likewise.
so I think it's time to get this to play this. Listen to the song. Stick it out. It is almost 7 minutes long, so it's long, but it's more about the mission of why we do what we do, and I hope it resonates with you guys.
And you're going to see impacts from the community from each organization.
Yeah.
And so when, you know, these, we try to create these videos where we give credit to those organizations that support us and make it possible for us to continue outreach like we're doing. Because we could not one organization could do what we're doing if we didn't have the community support that we have.
Right.
And so highlighting that community support is huge. And you're going to see that some of these organizations you see in the videos are some of our biggest supporters. So
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome.
so let's get it on.
The mission ain't over. An anthem of service, honor, and brotherhood. We wore different boots, walked different roads, carried our share of heavy loads, but the oath we took didn't disappear. When the uniform got hung up here, we learned that battles don't always end. When you finally make it back home again, some wars get quiet, some wounds don't show, and sometimes your brothers are the only ones who know. So we made a promise, simple and true: if you're still fighting, we're fighting with you. Hanging on a wall, it's answering again when somebody calls. Different ways to serve, but the reason's the same. Stand beside our veterans and remember their names, 'cause the mission ain't over when the uniform's gone. We still carry each other, we still carry on to service and honor through the hurt and the scars. We remind one another who the hell we are, from a seat at the table to a hand reaching out, to a voice through the speaker saying, we're gonna talk about it now. As long as one veteran is fighting alone, the mission ain't over till we bring them home. Sean found a calling down by the waterline. Nautical salute became another front line, building community, giving veterans a place where nobody has to hide what they're trying to face. Rich keeps the smoke rolling, fire burning low. At Combat Kitchen there's something veterans know, that food brings us together when the words are hard to find, and a meal between brothers can quiet a troubled mind. And James looks upward to that endless blue, for the heroes in the sky and the families who knew the cost of service, the sacrifice and pain, making damn sure we never forget a name. 3 different missions, but the heartbeat's one. Honor those we've lost and fight for everyone who's carrying a battle they don't know how to explain. Sometimes all it takes is someone who understands the pain. The mission ain't over when the uniform's gone. We still carry each other, we still carry on through service and honor, through the hurt and the scars. We remind one another who the hell we are, from nautical salute to the kitchen's flame, to heroes in the sky keeping alive every name. As long as one veteran is fighting alone, the mission ain't over till we bring them home. Then 3 chairs pull up and the microphones glow. No polished answers, just the truth that we know. Sean, Rich, and James sitting side by side, talking about the things veterans learn to hide. We talk about the good days, we talk about the bad, about brothers that we miss and the battles that we had. We talk about coming home and party you never did, about the pain behind the laughter and the things we've kept hid. Sometimes we raise hell, sometimes we disagree, sometimes the room gets quiet over somebody's memory. But somewhere there's a veteran driving down a road, listening to 3 brothers saying, you don't have to carry this alone. Because we stood at too many funerals, we folded too many flags, It's time we get even better at standing beside them while they're still here. So pull up a chair, grab a plate, come down to the water, turn on the show, tell us your story. You don't have to pretend here, you don't have to be okay here, you just have to stay. Sean keeps building the community, Rich keeps feeding the soul, James keeps honoring the heroes and the stories that must be told. Then three brothers grab those microphones and send one message across the air. If you're struggling tonight, there are still people who care. The mission ain't over when the uniform's gone. We're still brothers and sisters and we're still standing strong. Through service and honor, we'll answer the call. And when one of us stumbles, we carry them all. From nautical salute, where belonging begins, to combat kitchen, breaking bread among friends, to heroes in the sky where their memories live on, to three voices behind microphones saying, brother, hold on. We will serve, we will listen, we will remember their names. We will stand in the darkness and help carry the pain. No veteran forgotten, no story untold, no brother or sister left out in the cold. Because service isn't something we did, it's who we are. Honor isn't something we wore, it's how we live. And brotherhood doesn't end when the uniform comes off. So until every veteran knows they've still got somewhere to go, until every veteran knows they've still got something to give, until every veteran knows their story isn't finished, the mission ain't over, and neither are we.
Come on back, Doug.
Welcome back, Dougie.
All right, he'll rejoin us shortly.
There he is.
I'm here. I was working on my audio.
I tell you, like, what we played that, and I think Rich asked me to play it like multiple times earlier. When it was just, it pumps you up, you know.
Yeah.
It lets you see. Hey, it's kind of what we're doing, but it's fun. It's fun.
It shows the layout of kind of who the organizations are, and where where their intent is, where that community focus is, and that's what I like most about it, is because we know as an organization what our intent is. We know what fuels us. We know what our passion is, why we created these organizations, but none of that means anything if we can't show our community and support our community with it, and that's what's huge here.
You know, so getting back to kind of the big thing of having Doug in the hot seat, right, in a good way, is, talking about, what are some of the needs, and because you never know who's watching or when they're going to be watching because of, the way StreamYard works, and it goes to our platforms. It stays up for a while and stays permanently on our YouTube. But Doug, can you kind of talk a little bit about, some of the things that you have a need for, at the event, to that's still kind of outstanding a little bit, and let them know, if you can, where to find it, how they can help.
Yeah, so thankfully, I'm working on, we got this stage thing. I think we talked earlier about this.
Yeah, the stage. Yep.
Just a little logistical issue. We wanted to be more connected with the audience and engaged with the audience, and I think that we all agreed that 60 plus feet with us, 9 feet above the crowd is not in good. It's not a good look, and it doesn't fulfill the the balance of what we're trying to accomplish. Being right there and being actively engaged with the audience or those individual people, to just make them feel like, hey, look, this is like we're all sitting around the fire, or we're, you know, sitting at the chow hall, or, you know, we're all rubbing our toes together, right, on the couch, as brothers. But I think that that right now is the only thing. Volunteers is the main issue. There are a lot of moving parts early in the morning. I'll be contacting the ROTCs here in Jacksonville Beach, Neptune Beach, and Atlantic Beach, maybe even into Ponte Vedra a little bit, just to get those guys involved, because number one, I know they need some hours of you know, community service, so to speak. But I think that they would really like to be engaged in something like this also. And one thing that I said earlier was, I've always held friends who are older than me. And there's a reason for that. It's just, you know, people in my peer group and my age group, they were always, you know, in a different kind of mindset, right? And, you know, dealing with whatever was around them and trying to figure it out, right? Me, I kind of like just, you know, accepted it early, like, hey, you know, this is the way things are. You either, you know, adapt and overcome, right? And I learned to do that fairly early. And one of those things was, hey, I'm going to be 10 years older in the future. I want to know what this guy 10 years older is doing, right? And so, you know, I would naturally connect with people who are older than me. Nowadays, that's not so much the case, because the guys who are, you know, 10 years older than me are kind of like, I don't want to say over the hill, but there's been a lot of, and I watch it, right? Like I said, I analyze, but there is a loss of a loss of drive. Say again.
That's what he did.
I think you just called us
I
old.
think you just referred to
I don't
us
think
as
any,
old.
I don't think you guys are older than me, are you?
I don't think so.
I don't know. Probably close.
I'm 46.
Yeah, I'm a little older than you.
Are
I'm
you?
right,
Oh,
and I'm right under you, so I'm not far behind you.
okay. Well, we're peers. We're all peers,
Yeah,
though.
absolutely.
Which goes to show. I mean, it's not entirely my point, but it goes to show that there's few and far between of people who kind of identify with the same type of mechanism in their life, and in what they will allow in their life. Right, your network is your net worth. Type of style, and I've always valued my net worth. I have this saying that I said a long time ago. I consider myself a little higher than sacred, right? And if I'm willing to take care of myself in that manner, then the residuals of everyone else around me are going to benefit, you know, with my genuine nature, right? Um, and even if I'm not the best person you ever met, I'm pretty decent, right? I like to say so. Just the volunteers really is like I said, everyone's come together in such a tremendous way for this event. I set the bar pretty high for what I wanted to accomplish, um, and I mean, it's just up to the attendees at this point.
Right.
You guys show up, that's all we can really ask for at this point. It's the stage is set, so to speak. It's going to be what it's going to be. This is the inaugural year. We're all going to be there, you know, hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder, and you know, we'll be as far away as you need, or as close as you need.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited. You know, I having the opportunity just to be in a place that has such a high traffic. You know, you're gonna get the curiosity, you know, of some. Maybe not everybody will get. But here's the thing: we get 20% of the potential traffic coming through there. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yeah,
So,
volunteers, and if anyone, we're still taking vendors. This was the last part of, because, so I want to make it clear, I did not sell this event to vendors. I'm going to break it down for you exactly how it happened. First, I wanted the community festival, no matter what, fully funded. Nobody has to pay for it. All the nonprofits are invited. I funded that portion myself, and anything that could come of it. And then we started seeing people just coming in, hey, I want to be a part of this. I want to be a part of this. This is my wheelhouse. I'd make phone calls. This is my wheelhouse. This is what I can bring. I do events like this. Could you use this? Yes, no. That's how it all
Yeah.
transpired. And then I broke off into the other section beyond that, and we were bringing local veteran-owned businesses in, and we wanted those local veteran-owned businesses to be showcased as well, right? We did not want businesses that were coming out just trying to target a protected class of, hey, let's get all these military people, and it's like shooting, fish in a
Fish
barrel.
in a barrel. Yeah.
Do not want that whatsoever. So everyone understands what this event is about. And every vendor that I talk to that's going to participate understands what this is about. And those vendors have donated in kind as well, right? So when we're talking about, we want to see people out there, and we're out there for you, and we're out there for us as being together, right?
Right.
You and
Yep.
that's the mission. And that's the goal. So volunteers, I don't. As soon as I make that phone call, I think that it may or may not be a kind of like a forceful phone call, just because school just started or starts on Monday here, and they may already have some curriculum for that weekend. But there's other options. If you do want to volunteer, contact me. Let me know. I will tell you this: it's an interview. I don't know if Sean will tell you. I'm sure he has the same mindset. James and Rich as well. I don't just work with anybody. I've held that. Like I said, I consider myself a little higher than sacred. I've got I want my reputation to precede me for what we're trying to do. And if I have somebody who's doing something left field or going off, sideways, that reflects on the sanctity and the genuine approach to the mission, right? And I don't want any cancers in there to, what is it, metastasize? Metastasize. There you go. That's my toughest word in the English language. Metastasize into something where it becomes perverted. That would be a nightmare for me. So I highly stay away from that. Highly vet people. I'll go look you up on LinkedIn. I'll go look you up on. I'll type in your name and type scam next to it. I do the due diligence, right? Whatever comes up, we're going to talk about it, and then we're going to decide from there whether we should partner together or coexist.
Yeah, or people that say they're going to do something when you do entertain it, and then they just ghost you, and it's like,
Yeah.
why?
Well, so interesting thing. That's great. If you say you're going to do something and then you're not going to be there, that's for a reason, right? And I'm fine with that. I just don't want people to come in with ill intent and try to destroy something that's a beautiful thing. It could be a beautiful thing. So it's like that saying: you give a guy $20 and $20 to leave you alone forever. You're not expecting that money back, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, and two, it's important that people shouldn't look at the fact that you put a little bit of effort into choosing the people you associate with, just because the people you tend to associate with reflect on you, and
You're most like the top 5 people you associate with.
right. And so, what I look at this as,
Thank you, Ginger.
when I started this organization, I knew who I wanted to work with, and I knew who I didn't want to work with. And so that's why I surrounded myself with Nautical Salute, Combat Kitchen, yourself, Walk for Vets, because I know in each one of those organizations, I'm getting stand up people. I know I can trust them. I know they'll have my back. I know there's genuine intention to help people. And I know you're not out to pad your own pockets or benefit your own self.
Yeah.
And because we have, you and I have had several conversations about organizations that do exactly that. Well, they'll participate in stuff like this, but the intentions aren't pure.
Yep.
It's for them to either pocket something themselves or benefit
Clout
themselves.
chase.
Chasing clout. And we've had a conversation before about how Heroes in the Sky has turned down a blank check from a very reputable, large organization. And now I'm not going to say their name because I'm not starting any drama or nothing like that.
I've seen a couple shirts today.
Yeah, yeah. But there's a certain foundation that wanted me to fold in and do some things and for lobbying efforts, etc. And I wasn't having it. It wasn't. It's not part of my mission statement. It's not why I created Heroes in the Sky. It's not why I do what I do. So money can't buy my time, and money can't change my mission statement. And I surrounded myself with organizations that are the same way.
Well, and not only that, but prior to him even agreeing, and I didn't know it, but one of the prerequisites for working together was, hey, I'm going to send you my books. I'm going to send you my information to show validity, and you investigate it, and we'll go from there. If it doesn't pass the snuff test, it's not going to work.
Yep.
Yeah, and a lot of people say, man, even surface level, but if you dig deeper, you can see how much that every organization that's a part of this, every nonprofit that's a part of this, has put into it, the efforts that they have put into it, and it's evident. They've all been properly vetted there, and you'll meet some of them also. One person that's not here is Lance from Still Effing Here, right?
Yeah.
Lance is a tremendously focused individual. He's kind of, I would like to say he's like myself in some ways, is that, he stays hyper focused, and sometimes the blinders are on, and it's just like, hey, I need to make a phone call real quick to touch base, to do a table touch and get this piece of information from this person, and I got to hang up the phone and I'm gone, right? And some people might take that like people are expecting pleasantries or something like that, and you can't like, there's a mission to be had, right? Like, we got to get somewhere, and that may rub people the wrong way in some cases, but I understand that I'm like that a lot of the time, and that's something I've worked on in my own, if I'm opening up to you guys, like in my own life, is to be more unassuming, so to speak, right? And it's just for the reason that people have been conditioned in a specific way over decades, over scores, to react to certain things a specific way. That's why we have such a culture shock when we come back from military life to civilian life, is because the programs are different. And there's like this syntax error that happens, right? You guys remember syntax error, Commodore 64?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you're running a program on a
DOS
CD, and then you go to a floppy disk, and it's just like, no, does not compute, right? And when you have that, like, don't get me wrong, I get frustrated, man. I'll cuss, spit, and moan, and like just like anybody else. But one thing I used to have was, like, the last thing that I used to deal with was road rage, right? And road rage would get to, like, I would get so upset, like, these stupid drivers, man. And then just be like, who is it? Some old lady, I bet, right? And like, I'm like looking at myself, I'm like, this is so immature, right? Let off the gas pedal, let them go by, let them go where they're going, right? They may be dealing with whatever, right? And I had to really condition myself into that, because it did not compute, right? So you have to rerun your program, and sometimes it's just starting over, wiping that drive clean, and start inputting these good things, right? Your good network, the good people around you. And if you got to cut some people off, you got to cut some people off. That's all there is to it.
Not everybody. I actually just said this earlier. Not everybody is a good person.
Yeah.
Not everybody deserves a seat at your table. Healthy boundaries for yourself and for those around you who you associate with is the key to success. And
Yep.
I will tell you this much right now. I will not associate with somebody who comes to me and says,
Thank you, Amy.
what can you do for me?
Oh yeah.
Not going to happen anymore. I want you to show up to say, how can I help? Or what can I do? Or what is needed, right? Because guess what? In the first 5 minutes of that conversation, I'm going to start understanding and just naturally the things that you need actually need. Go back to Maslow's hierarchy, right? What you need to keep you safe and fed or hung, that's going to come out naturally to where I can say, okay, this person's willing to have a servant or giving attitude. They're worth my time. And I know that might sound very harsh to some people, but you want you want to have people who are going to accept and receive guidance, assistance, right? Who are being willing to make the change to be better, a better version of themselves, not so they can get something from somebody, but more so they can stop surviving and start living. That
Right.
that I mean, Doug, I see that in everything you're doing, and I believe it was about uh, probably about 7 6 7 months ago was the first time we talked about your road to 100,
Right.
and more time questions have come about. Okay, what about this? Why do you want to do that? What's your plan for the growth of this? And what is the one thing that well, you might not know this, but what is one thing that in those conversations that has come out of them?
Right. So yeah, 6 or 7 months ago, I did change my kind of platform. Say again.
6 7.
6 7.
6 7. Hey, see? Hey,
Yeah.
everybody's mad at us. Everybody
Sorry.
tuned out right now. They're gone.
Yeah, they're like,
Now,
"Done."
It's a
now,
good thing.
now
It's a
it's
good
just
thing
us.
Josh is asleep.
Now it's just us.
That's his fault. That's his fault.
So yeah, I did change my platform. My thing is like, in my business, like I just don't do one thing. I'm not capable of just one thing, right? Something I set my mind to. Like my wife knows this about me. I'm literally like an extremist, and I don't mean that in
Most
a
definitely.
the trigger word term, but I'm an extremist. I'm a chronomaniac, and if you don't know what that is, it's like I think about the seconds and the 30 seconds and the 20 seconds for things to do, things to take place, right? And that's what drives me. Like I time block my schedule, and I adhere to it, right? Running your own business, you got to be a manager worse than any of your managers have ever been, right? um, on yourself to just drive you and motivate you, keep you on time, on task. So I changed my platform. I never wanted to do anything niche, right? What ended up happening was I started to, enter into these, what we'll call them focus groups,
Mm.
across TikTok, across Facebook, um, and just sit in these environments. I opened up another account, other than my main account, the Vet Legacy account, and just wanted to sit with people. I didn't want to be the friggin' sales guy, right?
Me?
Selling mortgage, exactly. Who, me?
Sorry.
Um, didn't want to be the sales guy, just like everybody else out there, begging for VA loans is kind of how it looked like, right? Or begging for loans, or I do all these loans. And what I realized
You're
is
good,
like
Breezy.
it's the marketing aspect, right? So if I'm not having a conversation with somebody that relates to that person, it's valueless, it's useless. If I'm talking to you about driving race cars and I need to know about dump trucks, right? This is a pointless conversation if I can't get onto driving race cars. So yes, I have a blanket knowledge of all of this stuff, real estate and VA loans and education and investments and all this stuff. But if I'm not talking to a specific person, it's useless to them, right? So I started learning about that, and then also in that I learned that there's other underlying problems. So there's layers to an onion. Combat, you and I have talked to that a lot. That there's layers to an onion, and sometimes these things have to be uncovered. People will come to you and they'll lie. They'll present themselves as one thing, and you know how to kind of dig and figure out, okay, this is what it's really about. So I definitely did some SWOT analysis and dialed in on my presentation. We were talking about the coaching before, right? So I had to do that to myself and be like, okay, so what went wrong in this, or how did I look to this person, or why would somebody say that to me, right? And so I had to refine my approach to these things and kind of understand how I'm being received to other people. And it came down to just like a marketing thing, right? In terms of I'm answering the wrong questions. That's kind of all it was. That's all it was. And then now these are the right questions. And I found out the need for all of these resources all over TikTok, all over Facebook, all over all these platforms. People are like, where do I do this? Where do I do that? And you see the conversation immediately change. And there's never an answer, right?
Right.
Or
Yeah.
there's, hey, talk to this guy. And then this guy's
Well,
saying, talk to this guy. And then they're talking to this guy. And there's never an, and then I just go to the VA and deal with that, right? So there's never really an answer. So when we're talking about vetting these nonprofits and vetting these VSOs and the DBQs and the getting the nexus letters from reputable sources and nurse practitioners who understand these things and doctors that understand these things, like that is super important to somebody because it's one step rather than 15 steps, which gets frustrating and gets you in that road rage format, right? So you're not only dealing with the issue you have to deal with, but now you're dealing with the landscape issue or the weather, right?
Yep.
On the road that you're trying to get to. So the Road to
Now,
100 platform
yeah.
started, it's 100% understanding education and maximizing the benefits and perks that have to do with VA benefits.
Now, so in applying that, I'm glad you segued a little bit into that because that was naturally where I wanted to go with it. Was, in some of our conversations, the road to 100, the financial security, the independence, the potential generational wealth, like for that individual, not you, for them, right? For the veterans themselves. Like what at what point did you get that idea of creating that movement? Because that's what I'm going to call it. It's a movement, right? It's you investing in other people so that they can see the value in themselves and plan for their futures. Is that accurate?
So it all created itself, kind of like this event created itself, right? I get a wild idea, put an input in, get outputs, and then just feed those outputs, and those outputs kind of like branch off. It's similar to logic design, right? Um, you ask a question, an answer comes out. If it's yes, you go this way. If it's no, you go this way, right? Binary code. So if we're running these programs, we're trying to reprogram these people, and it has been done. I'll give you a great example. Older service members, older veterans, we find that a lot of them, number one, they don't know their VA benefits. Number two, in particular the VA loan, and they have a stigma towards getting any service related or service connected disability rating or pay.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a reason for that. That is a program they are running. It is a pride program, right? It's a there's not enough. It's coming from a place of scarcity because of the time that they served. Okay, there was a place of scarcity. Now we're in a place of abundance. So the service members that are in now, dude, they've got full jackets before they get out, and they're 100% when they get out.
Yeah.
Right?
So a couple people I've talked to where I'm working at, they're already rated, but their ratings are postponed until the day after their ETS or retirement or whatever it is takes effect. Because
So
legally, by law, it has to take effect the day after they are done.
Yep. So that's evidence of two different programs being run from two different generations, right?
Yep.
Same military, same service, but two different programs being run, two different logic designs. So now we have to catch people up from that older status, the older veterans, right? Who've served, who are running that program, like, I don't want nothing from the VA. I served and turned the corner and I'm out of here, right?
Yeah.
Hey, don't you know that you're this is available to you? And then you hear whatever their symptom is for it, and then you diagnose the symptom, and then you prescribe. right? So that's the format. And then when I'm saying that it literally shaped itself, knowing that, because those are the two programs already being run, and then it fell into in terms of the need. That's something that I know of, right? Especially with the VA loan. But then it also, all encompassing. I can't just be like, yeah, man, hey everybody, come over here for VA loans. It's literally a benefit package. It's your severance pay, right? Um, in a lot of cases. And people don't know. Nowadays, what we found, I've done numerous TAPS classes on the basis, and I'm going through these TAPS classes, and the level of questions that these 24 and 25-year-olds are asking are far above any question I've ever been asked before, outside of active duty military. Like, they know their shit, if I can say that.
Yeah, I
Way
mean,
more so than a 46-year-old or a 53-year-old or a 60. They just don't know. These guys, they're already planning. They've already got two houses as a E6, a E5. You know, which is exponentially putting them ahead of anywhere that any of us would ever be. Like my own family members, some of them still aren't rated, right? And they're just getting rated now at 77 years old, 79 years old, right?
so
Had no idea the benefits.
let me ask a question in regards to what you do and what you're going to be doing at the event and such. Are you going to make time at the event to be able to talk to veterans, not necessarily just at the podcast time, but to where you can kind of shed a little bit of that knowledge, almost like a workshop time period? Because I think that would be very, very valuable for a larger number of veterans who might want to come to come and actually participate in that a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I have a booth. I have a booth there with the VA loan benefit itself, and how the veteran legacy. It's an acronym, and we'll go through that in a minute. But I have a booth that time in between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. I'll have my booth where I'm standing there answering questions while the kids are out there playing. People are visiting the booths and things like that. And I will have that workshop for where people can answer or ask questions. I'll do a live origination to kind of inspire some people, because some people like to see how it works. They just,
Yeah.
yeah, you can tell me all this stuff, but show me how it works. Hey, here's the numbers. The numbers don't lie. They're on the screen, right? This is literally how I do my job. So between 10 and 1, I'll be doing that, and it's probably going to be like 10:30 to, or sorry, 11 to 1. It's probably going to be about 10:45 to just before 1 o'clock, just so we can prepare for the podcast, make sure sounds right and everything, and put on a good production. But yeah, definitely that's available to them. I'm just going to be working like anybody else on that day.
Yeah. Well, I cannot wait. It's going to be freaking awesome. I'm going to be tired when it's all said and done,
Duh.
but
Yeah,
because I'll
it's
be
a long
driving
day.
back from Bragg the day before. So,
It'll be a blast, though.
but it's going to be a lot of fun. Um,
Nothing we haven't done before.
nope.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And I think too that we need to emphasize more that we've talked about what that podcast, there was going to be a lot of podcasts there, but there's going to be opportunities if you're in the audience with a live microphone going around where you can feel heard, you can feel valued, you can, if you have an input on what we're talking about, you know
Be a force multiplier.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can join our conversation, and you will be heard. And who knows who's going to be walking around with the microphone. It might be our audio engineer. We may get someone else to walk around with it.
Maybe me.
It could be
I
any
have-
of us.
I have somebody too. Angela could do it also. I want to say something about what you just said. Heard. Can I interrupt for a second?
Yeah, yeah,
So about being heard, like I want to define that, right? So definitions are really important when we're trying to understand things, right? Because we all know words. That's fine, right? But it's like my 6-year-old hears me say something, and thank God my 6-year-old boy always, he literally asks me, what does that mean? Right? And those are the questions that matter. What does that mean? And I'm like, what does what mean? Well, when you said heard, what does that mean? Okay. So you may hear something different when you say heard. I may hear something different when I say heard, and we all have a something that we prescribe to that. So when you say heard, I want to let people know that at this event, when we're talking about being heard, we're talking about being heard. It's not up by us. There's other people, like it's on StreamYard. It's across, right? I'm going to sitting in the mayor's office of Jack's Beach, not Jacksonville, but Jacksonville Beach, um, uh, mayor's office on, I think Tuesday is the day, Tuesday at 10 a.m. or something like that. Anyway, sometime next week, and I'm gonna have her come out to the event just because it's her city. Number one, she deeply cares about the city. Has nothing to do with any politics. But I will say, for politics, why you will be heard, why all eyes will be on this event. The primaries are coming November 18th, or sorry, what is it? August 18th, and then the finals are in. Is it finals? The finals are in November. So these issues, you want these issues to be like, we may not have the answer, but you will be heard,
Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
and somebody will find the answer.
Yep. And somebody
That's
will be there
that's
listening.
that's the point that's key right there, right? Is some maybe we might not have it, and we also need to be honest with ourselves and admit when we don't have the answers, because that's also how you create a genuine connection. Is not just say, "Oh, I know that." No, if I don't know, I don't know. But guess what? I'm gonna find out who does, or I'm gonna find out if I can learn it, and then I'm gonna follow back up. You're gonna follow back up. Somebody's gonna follow back up.
Right.
What's up, Rod Rice?
Yeah. Yeah. Being heard, it does have so. I mean, the definitions can be different. When I talk about being heard, I'm talking about those in the audience that may be suffering, those in the audience that may have questions, those in the audience that may have been feeling lately that they don't matter, or what they're going through, or they're the only one going through what they're experiencing. So when I say being heard, I mean I want a physical presence on stage or wherever we're set up, where they can feel heard in the way that they will speak to us. We will acknowledge what they're going through. Let them know that other people are feeling those same emotions, those feelings, and
Or
then
or have.
or have, and they are valuable. Like they are valuable, and then my goal is, if we can make them feel heard, maybe we can establish a little self confidence. Maybe we can boost their self confidence that they're not the only one going through it. There are other people that can help me. There is hope out there. So that's what I mean when I say being heard. It's it's more on that emotional side.
Right. Yeah.
Because it matters to know that you belong somewhere, or someone's listening, or you're not just you're
Yeah. You're
not
not alone.
you're not isolated
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
how you feel. That does matter,
Yeah.
because it's so easy for us as veterans, first responders, those suffering with trauma, to come to the conclusion that the pain that we feel is only what we feel.
Yeah.
We get in
So you
that
said it. You said it. You said it right there. It's and it's there's just listen. There's pain is frustrating, right? And that's the long and short of it. Pain is frustrating. It's not, we're dealing with weak individuals. These are highly trained, like highly capable, highly adaptable individuals. But it's frustrating. It's tiresome. We talked
Yeah.
about, exhaustion. And that's why we made the point early on the other side of exhaustion, on that other spectrum, is inspiration. And you can't stop that once that gets going, right? And it's that reprogram, getting them in the right direction. And yeah, they may have this epiphany where their eyes open, like, holy shit, I thought I was the only one that felt like this, right?
My books, right?
Yeah.
I cannot tell you. It's more than 2 dozen people that have reached out to me after they've received a book and read it, or called me in the middle of reading a book and be like, "How did you know?" Like, well, number one, I'm like, "What do you mean?" That's kind of a loaded question, right? And they're like, I'm reading this book and I've gotten through this chapter or I've completed it. And how did you know that I was feeling this way? Or how did you know that my family could potentially feel this way? And it's like, well, the only way I would really know is because I've lived similar experiences, right? But everybody's journey is slightly different because of how it's perceived or received or experienced. So I give this example all the time. All four of us could be in a car, driving down the highway, be in an accident. We are all going to experience that singular accident differently. None of us are going to have the same exact experience. You know, just because of maybe potential physical injuries, consciousness, not paying attention, you
Past
know,
experiences.
the past experiences, exactly, right? So being sensitive, right, to other people's lived factual experiences, creating empathy, not um, how do you say that? Not, empathy is important, but you don't want to be enabling. That's the key, right? And in finding ways to connect with people that lets them know that they're not alone, or man, I felt like you wrote that book for me. Well, it's, I did to a degree.
Well, empathy is incredibly important too, because that, along with empathy, comes with your ability to see someone else's perspective.
Yeah,
And so when we're talking about people who may be struggling or who may feel alone, that's key. Is you can show them that you see it from their perspective, that they're not the only one seeing in that matter. And I always go back to when I talk about kind of what Sean just said is how did you know? I always get those moments when we do our educational pieces and we go through the trauma population statistics and we start deep diving into certain populations and then we start just hammering in on what that may look like. Every single ceremony I'll have one or two people come up to me and say, how did you know how did you know I was going through that? That's exactly what I was feeling.
yeah.
It happens every ceremony.
But I think also the key is, for me, I actually kind of have a pet peeve of when I connect with somebody or somebody's just kind of forcing their opinions or whatever. The thing that will shut me down and tune me out is be like, I know what you've gone through,
Yeah, that's true.
or I understand what you're going through.
Yeah.
Because you can't, right? It doesn't matter if you've been through a similar experience.
Yeah.
You you may compartmentalize or not totally different than somebody else. So creating that empathy in that situation and be like, man, I can relate to that. I've had a similar experience. Um, Obviously, things are probably different for me, being male, being female, being having growing up having siblings. Yeah, it's just so many different metrics that go into it, right? It does come down to certain things. This event is no different. I can't tell you. I mean, I've done large events that raised $250,000. I've done events that we lost $2,500, right? But at the end of the day, you continue to connect and do things for the right reason to give opportunities for people to connect with organizations, connect with individuals, connect with purpose. Um, like that's powerful, and just like that with when you do these events and you're talking about the most, let's call it, serious and life altering decisions that have been made, like you've got to stop and think, wow, life today is fragile, and we really generally only get one opportunity to make a first impression. So it should be a very genuine, empathetic, but also know when you need to kind of shut something down.
Right, and
So,
we're only allotted so much time on this earth. And so in that time you're allotted on this earth, what are you doing with it? Are you impactful to other people? Are you serving other people? Are you changing other people's lives? And that's what I live by every day. And it it honestly, it's humbling to me too when you hear people, when I have two or three people come up to me and say, I don't know how you knew that, but I that's what I was going through when I was in my darkest time,
Or man, I needed to hear that.
or I needed to hear that because I'm experiencing that now, and I just wanted you to know how much you've helped me because you described what I was feeling exactly, and it's important to continue doing these. I love the education pieces, but I really like the camaraderie pieces because how many chances do I get to come be around 4 or 5 organizations that have like-minded moral compass that I do, and want to help people the way I do, and and the way to look at this is yes, heroes in the sky. We have our following and we touch so many people, but if I combine with Nautical Salute, now I'm combining with another population of his followers, and then if I combine with Combat Kitchen, we're now we've got 3 organizations that we're getting to their followers. Then we add Veteran Legacy, and then we add Walk for Vets, and then you continue adding these pieces that align with what we're trying to do, and now one organization to outreach has turned into 5.
The sphere of influence, right? So
Yep.
back to exactly what that legacy is doing is that sphere of influence of changing people's lives and allowing them. Look, a lot of these people know some of this. They don't know. Not everybody does, but there are some people that know it or are familiar with it. But now you are continuing to hammer it and speak it in,
Right.
and you're walking them through it, right? Dude, I dude, I could go on for days about the inspiration of what you do and like how you match energy, right? I've said it all along. You and I had a discussion, and then literally later that day or the next morning, you've
Right.
got a full blown out outline of something, and you're like, nope. Thanks for just talking. It allows
Right.
you to create your own clarity of stuff. And it's like, I'm here.
Right.
Right.
I'm here, but dude, just to get back on the topic of just the event and stuff, man, I cannot wait to just see this come together.
The
We-
best thing is
we-
it's a community fest. So it's not just about our organizations or any veteran organizations. It's getting up there. What happens, Doug, when you walk around? How many other businesses are like, what can I do to give back to veterans? What can I do to give back to my community? This is it. You don't even have to sit there and really give a donation. Come in,
Yeah.
say hi, scan
Right.
the QR code, follow the group, see what else is coming out, find a different way you can support it. Because sometimes you may not be supported this year,
Yeah.
but you're going to see how big it is in such a short amount of time. Because, like we said, this is not a 6-month ordeal to put together. Sometimes this whole festival could take about a year to 2 years to manifest, and for what you did to get permits, to get locked in where no one else can touch it. This day is locked.
It's exclusive.
The
I
name
love
is
it.
exclusive. No one ever could use it, and it's in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Out of all the places in Florida and stuff, it's in Jacksonville Beach.
How many bases you have right near you?
It's like 5 bases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, in that area alone, you don't know who's going to pop in or who's going to show up. You never know. That's why I
Yep.
always sit there and say, whenever we're out doing these events and everything, I try to give the most utmost respect to anybody, because you never know that one dude in ripped up clothes or coming over there. That could be the dude that could change everybody's lives
Yep.
and set the thing up and set the bar for next year. It's like a secret shopper or the undercover boss.
Right.
Well, we had an event like that tonight. The guy from Eglin Air Force Base come up and talked to me and admitted that he had been a certain user of his whole life, and he finally figured out a way to get clean.
Since 16 years old.
16 years, since he was 16 years old until a certain age, he was addicted to certain stuff. but he was able to turn his life around, and now he's a motivational speaker. He
Written a
talk
book.
he wrote he's an author, and he talks to other people in that realm that are experiencing
Recovery.
recovery or substance abuse like that. And so you meet these success stories about people who didn't give up on themselves. And that's what also I like to these events is because imagine the people we're going to meet in Jacksonville Beach that are the success stories that they're going to tell us their stories, and then we're going to see, holy crap, like
How can I mentor?
right, how
Right?
did like you're going to learn something from them. Like their success is going to inspire you to want to know how they did it.
Yeah.
My main thing, and I absolutely agree, man. There's a lot you guys touched upon. My main thing is that if people are watching, like, and they're dealing with stuff right now, my advice to people, and I'm not a therapist. I don't really walk people through these things because we all deal with our own stuff, right? It takes a certain individual to be able to do that, and I don't believe everybody should be doing stuff like that, right? Um, dealing with people's heartstrings, and because I mean, there's a lot of things that I don't have any understanding of. I couldn't fathom, right? I just got to let off the gas and let them go by. And if I can help bring up the rear, I'm going to bring up the rear, right? Just got to, I'm a firm believer of putting people in the places that they want to be in, um, that they're most comfortable, and then they thrive in that place. When you shove somebody into a box and make them do something that they're not comfortable doing, and they're doing something else, like, you're going to get half-ass effort. You're not going to have them live to their potential. They're not going to want to be there, and it just creates an area of contention all the way around, which the whole unit suffers because of it, right?
Yeah.
So interview those people, talk to them, put them in the place that they want to be, give them the opportunity to be in the place they want to be, and they'll be happy. I don't like doing admin work, right? I got to do it as a business owner, right? But I also know that there's some people who don't want to be in front of people, who don't want to be talking to groups of people, or handshaking, or out calling, and they just want to do paperwork. Well, let you do paperwork, even though the job itself by title requires them to do that. No, we're going to turn this into a bigger beast with all these appendages, like Voltron, or Captain America, right? With these rings combined.
Thundercats.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
not so much Thundercats. He had the
Wily
sword, right?
Cat. Oh yeah, yeah, but
But having those items, all those items combined, to make this one, I guess, insurmountable force, right? To attack the goal is the prescription for that landscape. So
Yeah.
the other item was, I view this, and if I can be totally candid about the future, and kind of like, I tell you that a lot of times, like, so I'm living in today, but my mind is 5 years from now, always, right? Same thing with because I have to set those goals way out there, because I don't know where I'm going, as I'm friggin' barreling along in this freight train. It's heavy. There's a lot behind it, right? And I've got to know that the tracks are built
Welcome in, Treasure.
to get there, right? So, I, you've heard the saying, if you build it, they will come, right?
yep.
Um, which is true, which requires a whole lot of risk, especially if you have, families involved, and, these are all stakeholders. Like, some little baby who's 2 years old is a stakeholder in your decision, right? And that's a lot of pressure as well, to make sure that all those people, what their priority level is, and what effects may be on them, and those considerations. But the biggest part of it is, when I'm talking about building it, it's something that's, I said this before, it's living, right? We don't know what it's going to become, but we have to continue setting these community festivals so that we do know what they'll become. We muster
Yeah.
together, right? In a place where these things are all available, get the feedback, And then we know what every, like when you're saying you're hurt, right? We know what to provide next time. We know what to provide in the future. There may be 3 events in your area, right, that surround themselves that are, Freeman Douglas veteran legacy events, and that's what's needed in your area. While only another area may only need the one community festival a year, and it's like revolving around a specific thing, right? So we got to get the buzz on the street, so to speak, in a lot of cases too. So have those conversations, ask those things, volunteer if you want to. Reach out to me. The email's right here. Reach out to me directly. Um, we'll figure it out all together, right? And it'll grow into something that we all love, that we all have a stake in, and it's going to move forward. That's the other part. Is I'm not going to say, hey, I need you guys to uh, to force this in a direction, right? And we're all going to go here together no matter what. And there's no destination, right? No, there is a destination. We're going to go to the destination and invite you to the destination, right? Because I'm not going, like me, myself, I'm not going anywhere unless I'm convinced to be there. So we're going to get the information. I think that this event is something that, when we piloted across the country, it's something that, people were heard, people were seen, and it's something that people have needed for a while. Even the city told me, the city's like, no, we need this event, like several times. I've not solicited that information out of them, because I told the city at one point, like I told you guys, about halfway through, I was like, man, I don't know, man. I might have to put this off till next year because there's not enough time, right? Um, and I've heard from the city at least 3 times, hey, we need an event like this.
Well, thank you for having the gumption and the drive to move forward with this, because in a short period of time, you're definitely mustering an army of people who want to make an impact in the community. And the other thing that's actually really awesome about it, though, Doug, is half of the organizations that are coming aren't even from your area.
Yeah.
That's that's the that's the part that's also really impressive. I mean, it's
I think
impressive what you've done, but
that's going to be a huge catalyst and I don't think that should go unnoticed and
Oh no,
unrecognized,
definitely
like you
not.
said.
Especially for the community when you're putting it out there to people that turned down and didn't want to do it. It's like, okay, you guys are in the backyard. This is your home. This is your home turf. And you're letting outsiders come here and set up, and you don't want to.
I'm sorry to laugh, but yes, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely. Don't think now when I tell you guys something, I'm a firm believer of it's a race to fall on your face. I don't care how I look. I don't care how many times I get dragged. I'm gonna keep running to that get dragged point over and over and over again, and that's how you expand, right? Because as soon as you get back up, you're going for it again. There's a time where we all served, right? And you joined and you're like, yeah, I could do that. I'm friggin' GI Joe, right? And then you get in there and you get broke. And you all remember the day where you're out there, whatever it was, whether it was, you know what, I wanted to eat this bite of food and they didn't let me eat this bite of food. I'm done with this shit. For me, it was I was on the quarter deck and I couldn't push up anymore, right? And he was like, you don't get your ass up, you're getting out of here. But and I know he's full of shit, they're just yelling. But I wanted to prove to myself, I was like, on the other side of this moment right here is me becoming a United States Marine. Just like all of those other females, just like all of those other hugely overweight, scoliosis in some cases with a waiver, like all of these other people who are less capable than me did it. What excuse do I have? Right?
yeah.
And I've always raced to that point, because at that point right then is when I grew into a U.S. Marine, and it was unstoppable from there, right? But you're absolutely right. I've reached out for nearly 3 years to individuals, to companies, to everyone who says, hey, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. Let's go. And granted, I don't expect somebody to just pick me up off, not knowing me and take me,
This was up, David.
couple with me, and it's their reputation at stake too. So okay, I'll do it myself. There you go. Now, when I came to you and said, "Hey, this is on the table," are you? Oh no. Okay. And then that's the point where we're saying, okay, so you guys, if I can't pick up the phone and say, "Hey, this is if you do this, if you're doing this, it should literally be a 3-minute phone call." I called the Marines. Guess what? 3-minute phone call. I called the Army. Guess what? 3-minute phone call. I think Sean, it wasn't even. It was like I don't even think it was that long. I think you cut me off. It was like, yeah, I'm here, right?
Appreciate it, man, Crystal.
Because this
Look,
is like
my bad.
this, and you're like, and I'm bringing combat because he said he's down too, and he yelled from the background, "Yeah, I got it." But like, if this is stuff that you do already, and you're claiming you're doing this stuff already, absolutely. But you're gonna see, and that's where I'm so anxious, just for my own. Yeah, I mean, I want to see like who
Look,
comes out of the
30,
woodwork at that point.
30
What's
minutes
that?
into everything firing off and rolling, everything about your stuff should hopefully relax.
Oh yeah, hopefully.
Should.
But like I said, it's a living event. It's not just fire and forget.
Nope.
There's still some. I would love for it to be like, okay, push the start button, and then I just go sit down somewhere and go, right. But that ain't gonna happen. Like
Look,
there's
this happens
there's work
every
to do.
time. My man drove from Savannah, comes to help, and I end up getting pulled in 17 different directions, and it ends up being just them two and whatever other volunteers are there. But it's in capable hands.
Yeah.
I go kiss, babies and shake hands and fight fires.
Yep.
That's the beautiful thing, because I thrive in
You got to
handling
stay dry a little bit.
I got to stay dry a little bit too. I was still soaking wet,
Yeah.
but no, having the team, being your backup, and just being a supporting cast is an honor for me. I know it's an honor for our organizations, to just be able to represent what right looks like, and let's change some lives.
I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy you guys recognize that, man. It is, and it's truly a blessing to. I mean, I can't thank you enough for being a part of it and coming out. I'm anxious. I'm anxious as well. I mean, there's some wild hairs that get in there, and the more tired I get, right? Then I know it's time to go to sleep. When I'm like, oh man, what am I gonna be like on the day of? But to tell you the truth, like I've been in those situations before, and I don't know, man. Something just falls into place. So you're absolutely right on that
It's
point.
good.
The reality of these events is exactly this. You can plan all day, but on the day of that event, you have to be prepared to make second-hand adjustments, because something's going to happen. Something's not going to go as planned. You're going to have to make a second-hand adjustment, but there's confidence in that decision, because you are backed by so many organizations that are helping you plan it or helping you run the organization. It's not going to be just you dealing with that. Oh, what do I do?
Absolutely.
There's going to be 4 or 5 other organizations behind your back offering support of, hey, don't worry about it, we got this. Like, because it does not matter what events you do, something's not going to go right. It's just life.
Certainly.
But it's the people you put in your on your team, or the people you put that support you. You know that if you can't do it, they can.
Yeah, and here's the other thing though, Doug, too, is when things do go awry, right, and you have a frago, and and the environment dictates what's happening next. Having the ability to rely on the other leadership is A, key, but B, people are going to watch and see how you and the other leaders react and respond, right? So are they going to fall apart and get all frantic? Or are they just going to slow down, take it one piece at a time, adjust fire, and drive through the objective?
Right.
That's what that's what the people that work with you on these events want to see, and that's also how like the city and the environment of leadership in the town are going to say, okay, wow, they handled that about as good as it could be handled, and they didn't stumble and get stuck with something. So
Yep.
that's going to be
It's going pretty good.
that's probably going to be one of the most beneficial things, is seeing how your leadership also carries through with just staying calm and just saying, all right, let's do what we can do to mitigate
You're right.
risk
That,
and move on.
you're right. And what really
So,
what really defines that is what you consider priority, right? Um, so you're right with the people you select to accompany. This is what I've known it, but I'm kind of like learning it and at a scale right now, right? Um, the people you select and the mission. If the mission is the priority, right, and it's not a self-serving mission, right, and you know the goal, that's going to shine more than anything. So I think that when and so we'll be clear, Veteran Legacy is not a nonprofit, right? On the books. So Nautical Salute is the nonprofit that we've partnered with, or that I've partnered with, to make this possible, right? So, and I think that we talk about it. We had a conversation today. Hey, I want the transparency, I want the clarity, and just to show, hey, everything's above board. This is what it is about. That's
Yep.
it, right?
absolutely.
And people will sit back and they'll be like, no, there's something there. There's something about this. And yeah, absolutely not.
But also, the people that are the biggest critics in that regards are also tend to be people that are never willing to step up.
Well, they don't want to
that's
sacrifice.
right, because
Yeah.
so a voice carries only as much weight as what's driving it.
Right. Yep.
It's fact.
I agree. I'm just freaking, my biggest thing is I'm every day imagining this mac and cheese to be as good as I hope it would be.
Bro, so let me just tell you, I mean,
They
it's
not had one.
Yeah.
I think out of
That's
anything,
all I
anything,
want out of it.
the mac and cheese gets destroyed.
I want a big bowl of mac and cheese, and that is it.
So for those that are watching and listening, why don't you go ahead and tell them about the mac and cheese and stuff, and what the purpose is and what we're doing. So,
Well, Comic Kitchen, what we're doing for the event is, you guys gonna get there. There's probably gonna be some other vendors, some other food trucks and stuff. But the thing is, with us, we are providing food for free. That doesn't mean you guys could. It's gonna
not a
be your
buffet.
dinner, your lunch, or anything. We're gonna give, what was it, about
it's 6 ounces total.
that's
Four-
what, 6 ounce,
4
little
ounces.
6 ounce bowl. And the purpose of it is to push our mission out there, because on every single one of our bowls we have a nice design sticker
Actually-
that's going to go on it with they're right over here on your desk. That's going to go on a QR code. That way you guys can link up with us. It's a way of us marketing to everybody else. It's going to be a smoked mac and cheese topped with pulled chicken.
And we're talking like
Six
six to nine
Yeah,
different
6 to
cheeses.
9
You
different
guys,
cheeses.
you
we're
guys
gonna
see
use.
how close Sean got?
That, it's dude.
Because it's making us want to make it right now. 'Cause we have this thing where we'll do a bunch of test runs. We know what's going to be, but we have to test it.
And it gets
Yeah.
destroyed.
I
Destroyed.
Yeah. Do we ship? Where to?
He's up in
But
I think Indiana.
But the thing is, though, Freedom. Speaking about the shipping part, even though we don't ship, we're in the process right now is going to be developing a cookbook as well. So i.e., I'm going to be messaging Doug and a few other people because I want to get a couple veterans to come up with their favorite dish,
Yeah, he knows.
do the ingredients,
I am a foodie.
make it, take photos, and send it to me, and it will be published in the cookbook when it is done. Because we're going to have our own recipes from Combat Kitchen, but I want to incorporate everybody who's actually been with me through this whole journey to be a part of the book itself. Because we're a family. It's not just Combat Kitchen is not me. Combat Kitchen is a brand. It is a meaning. It is a mission. It is a team. It is a family. I am just the face of it. That is it. But other than that, that's pretty much what we're going to be doing. And obviously, I'll be running around helping Doug out whatever he wants, making sure the podcast actually runs right in this crazy environment that's going to be out there. But it's going to be 100% blast. And I just wanted to get to that real quick too. For everybody that's on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok right now, even if you guys cannot donate money, just sharing the posts out, pushing it out to other people, other businesses that you may know, would help. If you guys want a link to the Zephy account, DM me,
Doug.
DM Doug, DM any one of us. SFH, Nautical Salute. You go to their page on TikTok. We're on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. You're on another. I'm on Kick. I'll make a new account if I don't have it. If that is reach you, I'll give you my email. But if you guys want to donate, just donate anything. Anything helps. If you want to be a sponsor, if you want to be a vendor, reach out now. We will get you the forms to fill out. I can't remember if Doug actually explained how much he was doing for the vendors and stuff, but we'll get the forms. We'll get everything you guys need.
It's $200.
Yeah.
We'll get every single thing you need. But just make sure you guys like it, share it, post it, feed it to everybody. Print it out. Print a flyer out. Talk to your bosses, talk to your works in your local areas, and see if you can put a flyer up if they allow it.
So one of the things I've got to brag about this a little bit, one of the things that eventually is going to happen at the FOB is our internal cooking stuff. But we actually raised $2,500 to have a custom smoker built. The people that are building it are donating their time and
The labor.
and all the labor is donated, and I think half of the material is donated. They found a 500-gallon
What's up, Sky?
propane tank that they're going to utilize. They're going to build the custom
What?
trailer. Yeah, it's going to be massive. Like we'll be able to do probably two whole hogs.
Yeah,
this thing.
he even said there because we were talking about a 250 at first, and he even said the same thing. We're like,
They
man,
would love.
That is
we're like, man,
massive.
500. But he's like, yeah, that's what they're shooting for, a 500 gallon.
So they found one. He's just got to get it from the one place to there. But $2,500. That's a lot of money. But at the same time, people are believing in the mission because they see it actually happening. And that's what they're going to see with this event, Doug. Is they're going to see it kick off. They're going to see it grow, and in the end, it's going to be fantastic when we say sorry, like we're booked up.
And the funny part is we have people that ain't even organizations trying to do what we want. They just came to one of our events, ate the food, and they've been asking us to cater their wedding and all this other stuff. Like, listen, I'm like, we have to worry about something else. But the funny story about the smoker, that whole conversation came from literally my son wanting a milk while we're at the tiki place or Captain Hiram's in Sebastian, Florida. The bartender was there. She overheard the story. She was asking what the T-shirt said and what it was about and everything. And I explained to him what Nautical Salute was doing and the fishing and what we started with Combat Kitchen and everything. And she got her husband over there, who also is a construction worker. He builds homes in the state of Florida. He's licensed and insured there. And he came up. He's like, you know what? He reached out to his people, his metal workers and everything. And they're like, we'd like to. Originally, they're going to try to do it free of pocket out of change, but how some investors are, they backed out and did this stuff. So we said, forget it. We'll try to raise money, and they still covered everything because people don't understand building a smoker like that, the labor process for it.
Especially everything from like not just buying a trailer and putting something on it. No, they're building the trailer from scratch.
Oh yeah.
So it's going to be exciting because, like, once we do these reveals and stuff like that, it's going to allow us to go to the homeless encampment areas and where the veterans are at, and feed them and continue to raise money for other organizations and such. So,
Let,
Combat Kitchen,
let,
it's all about doing stuff for other people.
let me ask you a question, because
So,
that right there, your statement, right, going to the homeless encampment, and I envisioned it in my head, right? And I don't want to get into. I'm not leaving you out, Heroes in the Sky. I'm not leaving out FSFH or John Ream for Walks for Vets, but it's a stencil that fits in each one of our organizations. Okay, so that statement, I envisioned it in my mind. This 500-gallon smoker showing up to a homeless encampment or a city mission that has veterans there, and even just homeless people, right?
Thank you, Freedom.
yeah.
And donating, and it in my mind, I'm like, well, what does that give you, right? And then I was, because before you had said that, I'm thinking about the first person that donated to Veteran Legacy, and something that they have that nobody else has. They're the first person that donated to Veteran Legacy. No
'Cause
one
they
will ever
believed
be
in
able
it.
to take that. No one will ever be able to take that away
Nope.
from them, right? They know that. And then the people who are donating, hey, I donated once, hey, I donated twice in 2 months. All of these people are doing that for a reason. And I think they align with the same understanding that I'm trying to be a part of something that's
Yep.
outside of me,
Bigger
right?
than me.
There's people out, and nobody forced them to do that, right? Like, nobody's forcing you to go and build this stuff. So,
No.
and you're doing it because it's inside of you. Hey, this feels good to me, right? To be a part of something like this. And like you said, it's not for recognition,
No.
right? You get that little small sliver of whatever, hey, I did something good, right? But naturally, like, it becomes fun, right? I think that's something psychologically that a lot of people fight in their life,
Thank you.
as we're like, oh man, well, why wouldn't I donate to something like this, right? Why wouldn't I donate my time? Me, I don't care what the bum is going to do with the $20 on the side of the road. I give him $20 and I let it go with God. That's it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I
And
have
here's
it.
yeah.
and here's the also thing too, Doug. Before to cut you off, is like a lot of people sit there and ask us. There's nothing to be posted. This stuff, when we do with the homeless veterans and everything else, there will not be videos.
Nobody knows about
There
it.
will be nothing done for it. It's not being filmed. It's off the books, behind
Right.
closed bars. The only people that's going to know is the team that's there when we're going. So if you want to be a part of that, reach out. Then we can send you a date. Hey, you want to come volunteer and help us out with this? But otherwise, there will be nothing. The only thing that will be video, because what me and Shaw were going to get to after that was on top of feeding the homeless vets, we're going to try to find one local veteran in that area to be a guest chef on there. Come on here, we're going to do like a little podcast with him, sit down, talk to him. He's going to cook the
Learn their
menu
story.
that we're going to feed the veterans. We're going to use his food, his stuff. We'll get the ingredients, but he gets to pick it. We'll film it, then we'll feed. So it's going to be what he does. So it's not always going to be ours. Like I said, it is Combat Kitchen as a whole. It's a community. It's a family. It goes perfectly well with the community fest because we are one. That is it.
Guys, anybody can sit, they can go to work, they can come home, they can watch a sitcom, they can go to sleep, they can wake up, they can go to work, they can, like, you have no idea how rewarding until you drop a drip in that bucket
Yeah.
of that thing that you've not been touching your entire life. I'm telling you, when and people don't know, because people are in the rat race, right? I mean, for the most part. And we talked about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, what motivates us. It's never going to be enough for you. I'll tell you that right now. It's never going to be enough chasing that piece of cheese, right? But
Nope, the
helping
cheese
other
gets bigger.
people, helping other people, helping other people get to the things that they need to do, just their basic needs,
Yeah.
that's your duty.
The amount
The
of I
cheese.
get,
You just said cheese. Just said cheese. So literally, we smoked
Oh, yeah.
like 7 different cheeses at 130 degrees. You know, I think he smoked it for like 5 hours. So
Yeah, that's gonna be in the mac and cheese.
it's gonna be in the mac and cheese. That's the cheese that's like. So it's.
Because like a lot of people
I
don't
just get
realize
excited about
is
food.
Combat Kitchen 2. We have a private butcher,
Yeah.
Spike Smokehouse. He made our newest sausage today. He took a trip up to North Carolina to go fishing. Made us breakfast sausage, all this other stuff. Everything's hand cut by him. He's got an amazing setup in his garage. If you went into it, it looks like an industrial
Commercial
butcher shop,
kitchen in
like a
Buckner,
commercial
yeah.
kitchen. Phenomenal. And we're just slowly growing, bit by bit by bit.
The right people, right? It's not about. I don't want to sprint. This is a marathon, so we need to take our time, continue to massage the right people in the right direction, and that's the other beautiful thing about it is it's not about micromanagement, right? Learn, grow. We should all be excited and happy about grooming the next person to take over eventually. We're only going to be able to do this until we can do it,
Yep.
right? Until we can't anymore. And then hopefully it's something from a legacy perspective that wants to continue.
Sean, what you asked me a long time ago too, what's my end goal for what we wanted to do with this? My end goal, once it's all said and done, everything's in writing, how we actually want it set down, because we're still going through it. It's still a bump in the road, but it's getting stronger every day. My 5-10 year plan, saying like 10 years, is to have one more set up into a different state with the right group running the same thing through the same project, through the same brand, everything exactly there. We will set the standard. They have to go the same way and expand out, just like Nautical Salute is now in Puerto Rico. Same
Yeah.
purpose.
I want to explain something to you. Some of those brand names that you guys follow, not you guys, but some of the brand names that we see around our towns, they've started like this,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
right?
In garage.
And you don't
house.
and you think, oh, this is some for-profit business, and like they've really started by donating damn near half of their incomes as a corporation to their causes, right? And they've continued that effort, and I commend those. Like Firehouse Subs was one of them, right? Like they started here in Jacksonville, Florida, 20 some odd years ago, and they just sold for however many billion dollars, $2 billion or something like that. But they continue, like they didn't sell the company and say, oh, do whatever you want with it with our brand, because our brand is the donation, is the community impact.
Yep.
That's the brand. We didn't get to where we are without the community, without helping those first responders, those firefighters with the equipment that they need. And they've donated their money, right? Regardless if you were just hungry or not, they donated their money.
You know, I get so excited with James, and because James, has just embraced us, literally a family. Like it's not an exaggeration, right? So like when we use the word brother and family, we mean that. Like it's to our core, right? Are we always gonna like and get along 100% of everything? No, but you know what? We have the respect to sit down and talk about it. How can we adjust it? And then also, it's not about just James coming to us and doing this. It's like with you. We go to him. We go with him. We go with you. We support one another's in a way that it shows people that a fire team, a well-disciplined fire team squad, you can't, like, that's a force that you don't want and you can't reckon with. So
You guys,
right
you
now
guys
we
know
have a
this.
fire team.
You guys know the saluting Marine?
Oh yeah, Tim. I know Tim.
Yeah. So I just saw another heartfelt interview where he was being interviewed for the news, and you can tell he wasn't. I mean, he was comfortable in what he's doing, but at the same time, like there's a mission there, right? And it's uncomfortable, that mission. A lot of times, there's a lot of emotion there. There's a lot of people around. There's a lot of feelings going out. One thing he said though was a lot of times the family doesn't have the means to even go to where they're needed. The family themselves, it may be across the country, right? And you know, things like that is where the people step up, right?
Absolutely.
Or have stepped up early in the early in his mission. And so that like maybe 10 years ago somebody donated, and then all of a sudden now, or not 10 years, 10 months ago somebody donated, and then it ended up that he was able to use that donation to help this family, actually go see their person who was across the country, and then him provide his service and recognition to that person that they, before they passed, is his platform.
Because, well, he got his start in Washington D.C.
Right,
literally during Rolling Thunder, and
right,
for 3 hours he stood at the position of attention in saluting.
right.
Hence the saluting Marine that came about, right? 10 chambers. Um,
But taking somebody like that, right?
yep.
And this is the same thing as like Heroes in the Sky, and we've talked about this too, and like and John, right? Taking somebody like that and be like, hey guys, we need money for this to be able to happen, and this and that. Like it takes away from the essence of the purity of what they're doing, right? So bringing people together like this, like I'm not gonna lie to you, there's gonna be a donation booth at the event, and you can donate directly to Heroes in the Sky, directly to Walk for Vets, directly to Nautical Salute, directly to Combat Kitchen, directly to Soldier Refuge, directly to the VFW, the American Legion, all of the Coach Family Cares, directly to all of these people, so that they can continue their mission. My job, like I said, and I'll always say it, and I won't lose this mission, is to help promote these nonprofits for these people who are doing this, not for recognition, not for because it's a need, right?
It is.
And sometimes it's extremely frustrating, and I get frustrated just because of the people who are out there just like, how can I capitalize off of this? How can I get frustrated because there's a need and it's not being filled as an entire nation. And it's not a matter of, oh, I didn't know about that. You know this
There's
stuff is out there.
there's so many organizations right now with a nonprofit status that are using their nonprofit to benefit themselves personally or
Yep.
to benefit personal endeavors of theirs. They're using
Yep.
that platform to benefit. They're and it's not genuine, it's not heartfelt. It's using their platform to benefit themselves or their own personal endeavors. And we started Heroes in the Sky started very small in Georgia, very small. Not even to the point where we didn't even know when I started this, and a lot of people don't know this. I wasn't even confident that it was even going to get off the ground because I just didn't. I didn't know where the direction. I had belief, and I knew something. I believed in something good was going to happen, but there was doubts that I could even grow this organization. And now I look at it 2 years later, and we have memorial pieces in Utah, Florida, Texas, 4 or 5 states across the United States. And so, but we weren't the only way we were able to do that was being genuine to our core, was being genuine to our mission, and not doing things to benefit ourselves personally, not doing things to benefit my personal endeavors or my family's. That's not
Or to exploit families.
or to exploit the families. I've been accused of that. I will say it out loud. I have had an organization accuse me of doing a Deterrence Through Truth video series where we interview families, tell their stories, amplify their voice, give them reasons to stay, and give them reasons to lower their risk of self harm. And I had an organization directly accuse me of interviewing families for personal clout and personal views.
It's such a touchy. It's such a touchy, just atmosphere, right? And I mean, I commend you for remaining true. And I mean, dealing with that also, because I couldn't imagine, man. I don't have it. I don't have that quality. I'm going to tell you right now. I don't have the quality to be able to deal with a lot of other people's pains. I have my own frustrations, and I couldn't imagine having that and then just remaining true. I can imagine the remaining true part, but not to that level, right?
Right.
To where I just didn't drop it and like, okay, so okay, you're accusing me of this. I don't want to deal with that, and then you're giving up on the people who need you, right? So I definitely can understand that aspect of it, and I mean that's a testament to the fortitude behind it, right?
Well, we continue because the support that we continue to receive. Because that's less one bad apple that wants to make accusations. But I have so many other stories from families that we have interviewed that we have told their story that have told us that it does help them. It is beneficial for them to tell their warrior story, to feel like they are heard, to feel like their voice is amplified in this fight.
Yep.
Because the biggest piece is there's already a stigma surrounding mental health and self loss to self harm. Imagine what that stigma for the families is like. If
Right.
people don't want to talk about the direct service member or first responder that passed that way, you think they want to talk about and advocate for the families? Absolutely not. And that's where we come in, and that's why we advocate for the families because of that strong stigma.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think anything about that, to be honest.
Yeah, it's the families. I mean, they're already carrying generational grief because of the way they lost their warrior.
I
And
have to interrupt this broadcast. Thank you. I haven't had the ability to check exactly who it was yet, but I just want to say thank you. Since we've been on this live, we've had another $100 donation come in.
Oh, thank you, guys.
So I will figure out who that is in a little bit, but I just wanted to say thank you so much for. Just want to say thank you for believing in what we're doing, and I know it's getting very very late, and I know we also have another video to share to get ready to close us out.
yes,
And is there any closing remarks that you'd like to kind of say, Doug?
No,
No, he said I said enough. I said
it's
enough.
it's. I was exhausted before this. It's 2 hours and 23
yeah,
minutes.
yeah.
No, man, I really do appreciate you guys. Rich, thanks for maintaining me not being on mute. Um, and the great video despite my lighting situation. Heroes, as always, man. James, I always get a different perspective from our conversations, and I really value that, man. And it's inspiring. It's inspiring because, like I said before, I like the synapses to be firing and to building new synapses. It definitely helps me have different perspectives in things that I'm doing. And like you said, you continue your mission because the support's there. Um, and to touch upon that with the definition of support, you even feedback is support, right? So it's not monetary, it's the shares, it's the likes, it's the feedback, and you got feedback from your community which told you, hey, this is something that I absolutely, please continue doing it, right? By any way, shape, or means. And Sean, as always, man, I really appreciate you. And um, in having this and allowing me to have a place to make this thing, you know, come true, that we can build it together, and introducing me to some great people as well.
Hey, anytime, anytime. And
And
I'm
thank you to
sorry
the
I had
donor.
sorry I had to cut you off earlier, but I was in the middle of like, you know, cooking eggs. It was crazy, but it was a great event, and you know, as always, you know, keep driving on, and we got your back.
Absolutely.
And there's a reason why we do what we do. And I hammer this home every time I end a live or end a video. Is there's a reason we need nautical salute putting veterans on boats on the water, giving them camaraderie. There's a reason we need combat kitchen bringing people together with food. There's a reason we need veteran legacy festival bringing people together for strength and community, right? There's a reason we need John Ring to make veterans feel like they're not alone in this fight. And that reason is a couple reasons. Number one, we are losing 44 veterans a day to self-harm. And we cannot look at just 44. We have to look at the bigger picture when you talk about 44. They're saying in research that when we lose a person to self-harm, that's a minimum of 5 family members affected and 135 community members. Daily. So you say 44 times 5 times 135, you're at 29,700 people that are affected by veteran self-harm alone. And then you move that to the week, you're at over 208,000 people per week that are affected by veteran self-harm. And then you look at it for the year, you're at over 10.8 million people affected by veteran self-harm. And these numbers don't look any better for first responders. We lose a law enforcement officer to self-harm every 17 hours. Most firefighters carry a 72% greater risk for self-harm than the general public. They carry the highest suicidality rate of any population. And it's been shown that firefighters will reporting to at least one self-harm call in their career. Some firefighters report more than 12 self-harm calls in their careers, and you wonder how they deal with it. So this is why it's important that our organizations are coming together and fighting for these populations, because it's always going to be an uphill battle with what they have to go through.
And on that,
Staggering numbers.
On that, we're about to cut this thing live. If everybody just stay tuned to the video, and obviously the event's coming up in about a week or so. So I will be going live on TikTok as much as I can to promote this thing as much as I can, putting a Zephy link up there, see how many more donations we can get for it. I haven't been live that much in a long time, but Doug knows, Sean knows, this is the stuff I'm passionate about. So I'll see you guys probably again tomorrow and then the next day until we get this thing going so we can get as much as this week possibly can. That's what I'm going to end up to contribute some more to this. But I appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys stay tuned to this last video. Doug, if you want to, you can stay until it ends.
Hang tight.
Otherwise, you can bounce out right afterwards.
Yeah, I'll watch the video.
Yep, 9 p.m. Eastern, live every night. I'll do it. That's fine. There you go. 2,100 hours for you, non-civilian type.
I used to think healing was supposed to sound heroic, like victory speeches, like medals hitting a wooden table, like somebody finally saying, "You made it." But healing sounded more like silence, like sitting in the truck too long after work, because home felt safer when the engine was still running. Like staring at a grocery store aisle, trying to remember why your heart suddenly started racing. Like waking up at 2:13 in the morning, sweating through memories you never asked to keep. See, they trained us to survive the battlefield, but nobody really taught us how to survive ourselves afterward. Nobody talked about how trauma follows you home wearing civilian clothes. How it hides in fireworks, crowded rooms, empty bottles, divorce papers, missed phone calls, and the sentence, "I'm fine." Especially that sentence. I know veterans who carried entire teams on deployment, but struggle to carry groceries inside the house now. Men and women who could navigate chaos overseas, but can't navigate their own thoughts when the room gets quiet. And still, they wake up. Still, they fight. That matters. You hear me? That matters. Because hope isn't always loud. Sometimes hope is just making the appointment, answering the phone, talking for the first time, saying, "No, I don't think I'm okay." That's courage too. Maybe even the purest kind. See, the world loves the image of the warrior, but healing asks something harder. It asks the warrior to become human again, to let people in, to trust again, to stop apologizing for wounds nobody can see. And that process, it's ugly sometimes. There are setbacks, bad nights, anger that shows up uninvited, days where depression feels heavier than body armor ever did. But there are also moments, small moments, where light gets through. A kid's laugh, a sunrise after a sleepless night, brothers and sisters sitting around a table finally telling the truth, a stranger saying, "Me too." That's where healing begins. Not in pretending the trauma never happened, but in realizing the trauma doesn't get to write the ending. You survived war. You survived loss. You survived becoming someone you barely recognized. Now comes the hardest mission of all, believing you deserve peace too. And maybe peace doesn't mean forgetting. Maybe peace is learning that your scars are not proof you're broken. They're proof you kept going. So to every veteran still fighting battles nobody sees, you are not weak for needing help. You are not forgotten. And your story, it is not over.